How can I add dimension to intricate die-cut pieces? Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly's Crafts, and I'm an independent demonstrator here in Northern California, and I'm here to give you a couple of tips on how you can add dimension on delicate die-cut pieces like this. Because as you know, using dimensionals for something that's this small is not going to work. It's so small I can't keep it on it. But yeah, you're not going to be able to use dimensionals, but maybe you want to add some dimension to your pieces. I'm going to show you today how you can do that. So first what I'm going to do is I've got my layout here and I have some pieces that I want to add to it. This one here. So I have this one glued all the way down because I know I want that in the background, but I want some of my floral pieces to kind of stand out because that's kind of how they are three-dimensional when you put together flowers in a bottle. And then we also have the bottle dimensionalized because come on, bottles don't come flat. So you've got to put some 3D into that. And so I'm going to figure out where I want my pieces. So I kind of want that one on the left-hand side. Put a little bit of color maybe sticking out on this side. I think I want this side. And then I'm going to put this right over the top of everything. Something like that. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to show you a way to give it a little bit of dimension. It's not going to give it quite the dimension that you would get from a dimensional, but it is dimension, so that's what we're going to go with. So I'm going to start with glue dots. And I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and at this end there is a pokey end. And if you were to take this pokey end out and turn it around, you would have a spatula. You can see that. But for today, I'm going to stick that back in there, give it a twist to lock it, and I'm going to use the pointy end because I'm going to grab a dimensional. I'm going to take that dimensional and I'm going to, between my fingers, I'm going to make a little ball out of it. I don't know if you could see that. Can you see that ball? And then what I'm going to do is, I think I want it to be on the back of this one. So I'm just going to stick that right there on the back of this piece. And I think I want this one here, another one on this top piece. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, just poke it, pull another one of these off, and I'm going to roll it here between my fingers. I'm going to stick it back on my pokey tool, and I'm sure there's a more official name, but that's what I call it. And then I'm going to put this one right here. So now that one is ready to go. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So we turn that over. Grab another glue dot, rub it between my fingers, grab it, I'll put it right there, and another one, just like that. Now this one, we're going to do this a little bit differently. We could certainly do the same thing that we did with these other two pieces, but I'm going to show you a very different way. Another way where I'm going to make a long and skinny piece of adhesive dimension. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to be using tear and tape. Now this is very strong adhesive that comes in a roll, and it's two-sided tape, and it's really great for skinny edges, the outsides of where you're going to have a slot for a gift card, things like that. And it is pretty strong, but the strength doesn't really mean anything today. I'm just doing it more for the convenience because this is going to be a perfect way to add the dimension and adhesive to this. So I'm just going to tear off a piece about the length that I want for this project. I'm going to stick it to my finger. And the hard part is peeling away the paper from the adhesive, because I want to leave the adhesive on my finger. And I can feel that I'm picking up the adhesive. I don't want to do that. So this sometimes takes a little bit of patience. Come on. Let me try it from this side. There we go. There we go. So I'm just going to peel the rest of this off. I'm going to keep holding on to it with this finger. Oops, I didn't want it to roll up. And then I want to grab it. Well, unfortunately, it rolled, but that's okay. It's still going to work. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to start rolling it with my right fingers or your left fingers, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed. And as you see, now I have a long, skinny piece of adhesive. So this is going to be perfect to lay down on this piece because I can just bend it and put it exactly where I want it to go. Just like that. Move that out of the way. And then I'm going to do that one more time so you can watch it again. I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape. Let's see if I can get this off here a little bit quicker this time. You can certainly do this with your fingernails if you have some nice thin kind of pointy fingernails, but this is not usually this difficult. There we go. Oh, I left a little bit of paper on there. All right, and it twisted on me again, darn it. All right, no matter, I am just going to twist this all the way to the end. This one's a little fat at this end because it's folded over, but I will find a place for that. And then it seems kind of nice and fat right here, so I'm going to put that fat part right here. There we go. And I'm going to make my way up the stem exactly where I want it. And so now, as you can see, I now have, I don't know if you can see that, a little bit of dimension. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one down first because this is what I want in my background. I think I'm going to want it kind of right. Oops, oops, oops. Come on. Right about there. And since this one just can't stay away from me, I'm going to go doing this one next. We want them all to look like they're coming out of the bottle for obvious reasons. There we go. A little bit, you can kind of see a little bit of height happening here. And then this will be our last one. There were more leaves and I cut it off because I didn't want it towering above everything. I want to be able to see everything. So that one's going to go right there. I like it. So fantastic. So now the only thing I have left is my bow. And what I've done here is I've just taken a piece of twine and I've wrapped it around the bottle neck and just taped it in the back. I've made a bow, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the glue dot to adhere this to the front of the bottle. So I will get out my glue dots again, grab a piece. This time I'm going to make a taco or a roll. I'm going to roll it so that I could put it along the back side right there. Smash it on there real good. Turn it over, and I'm going to put it right smack dab there. So there you go. What do you think? You can see there's lots of dimension. Looking straight down on it, you can still see that there's a lot of dimension here. You've got your regular dimensionals under your bottle here to give that a little bit of height. And yeah, I think I like it. So that's a couple really good ways to give it a little bit of height on these tiny little intricate pieces without having to just glue them flat down. And in a case where maybe it's more of a kind of a lacy piece, these were pretty easy because we could just put a dot on some of these larger areas and stuff. But let's just say you had a really lacy open weave kind of thing. This is what I would do. I would take some glue, liquid glue, kind of smash it around a little bit. You want to make that thin as you can. And then I'm going to take this guy, and we'll just pretend this is lacy and has a lot of openings that you don't really want the glue to be gushing through. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to touch this to the glue. It's not going to ooze out anywhere because this is very, very thin and there's just enough glue. Then I'm going to tape this piece of cardstock and I'm going to stick it right here. And there you go. You're not going to have any goo. If this was really lacy, you're not going to have any glue coming out from between the intricacy of the die piece. It really, really works out well in any case, really. I mean, you could use it on a bigger piece if you're just not really good with applying liquid glue. This is a perfect way to take care of that. Here's another intricate die cut piece. All I would do is the same thing with this one. Originally, I was thinking of putting this on my bottle, but I didn't like it as much as I did this one. But you would do the same thing. Just put either a glue dot to give it some height, or you can just dip it in here and then stick it on your project. So there you go, guys. I hope you've learned something today, and I hope you'll come back and watch another monthly tip. As I'll be doing those on a regular basis. And while you're here, I hope that you hit the thumbs up button below, because that tells me the kind of projects and the kind of tips that you like. And while you're there, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that way you'll get notified whenever I publish another tip. Okay? All right, now go out and get some stamping done, and hopefully you can add some dimension to your projects. All right, bye for now.